What's going on, everybody? It's Sasha, your market expert here in Charlotte. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back for the channel and welcome back for the live Q&A that we do on every first Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. Eastern, even though today we're doing things a little bit earlier just because today is my wife's birthday. So if she happens to get off early without telling me or something like that, I want to make sure that I got the live Q&A done for you for anybody that has any questions about anything in regards to real estate, in regards to moving to Charlotte, Charlotte suburbs, whatever the case may be. I just want to be here and available for you guys. So I wanted to make sure that I got this done before we kind of get later in the day. Maria, how are you? Good to see you. Kia Mitchell, yes, this is 100% live. I know sometimes when I re-upload it, people think it's going on at that time, but no, Kia Mitchell, I'm 100% live right now. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in. But other than that, yeah, it's my wife's birthday today, so I'm super stoked. We're gonna be going to Savannah, Georgia tomorrow for the weekend, which I'm very excited about. I've never been to Savannah before. And hopefully I'm catching, some of you on your drive home or something like that, so you can tune in. Obviously, maybe don't type, maybe voice type or something. But in regards to what I was just saying about going to Savannah for this weekend, one of my absolute favorite things about Charlotte, I'm going to be making a lot more videos coming here soon, but one of my absolute favorite things about living in Charlotte is the proximity to everything. Like we're going to Savannah tomorrow. It's a 4-hour drive, which to me is absolutely nothing. And we've made so many day trips to places like Charleston, to Asheville, where you can literally leave at 7 a.m., be there at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., hang out, have the whole day, and then drive back. Obviously, I'd recommend staying there for the night to get a little bit more full experience, be there to explore more. But it's absolutely one of my favorite things ever about Charlotte and where it's geographically located. It's just being able to almost take a vacation, but knowing you're only a couple hours away from home, if so to sense. So let me hop in here and I'm going to start. You guys are coming in hot already. I feel like it, which I'm excited about. I love when you guys ask all these good questions. Um, Aries season, yes. I don't know anything about the signs. I'm actually a Leo. I don't know what that means to anybody. JD Kuntz, are you seeing the number of listings starting to climb? How about days on market? So JD, this market it's driving me absolutely nuts. I was expecting more new listings to be happening right now, which, seasonally, as the seasons go, you have your traditional rise in inventory, which is normal. As we're heading into the spring and summer market, we're gonna have more listings no matter what. But I was personally expecting that bump, yes, because it's seasonal, but I was also expecting a little bit more, cream on the top, if so to say. I was expecting a little bit more, but it's still night and day from what it was 8+ months ago. Right now, for example, if I was to log into the MLS, and so every morning I log into the MLS, I look at who I'm working with and I sift through the houses that I have them on the search on, and then I kind of expand the parameters a little bit to see if there's something kind of hidden that I might be able to find for one of my clients. And before doing that, it was extremely rough. I would see a couple houses, here and there coming soon, maybe, things like that. But now when I hop online and when I expand the search, literally, I've had some days where the entire first page of like 15 to 20 houses, it says coming soon. So the whole 15 pages or first 15 properties, sorry, coming soon, coming soon, coming soon. So we're starting to see that. I was just expecting more than the seasonal average, if that kind of makes sense. But we're starting to see a lot more. There's a good amount of options now. I've taken a couple people out already, and we've went out to look at homes for 1 or 2 days and looked at 6, 7, 8 homes, and we've ended up finding the right one. There's some people that I've taken out, and we've looked at 3 or 4 homes, and we found the right one that quickly. And that just didn't happen in the previous market. Kia Mitchell, I'm thinking about relocating from Philly, wanting to rent my house out and rent a spot there. Are there any nice areas where houses rent from 15 to 2,000? So it's going to depend on what type of house you want. Honestly, the traditional kind of 3 bedroom, 2.5 bathroom home that's in pretty good shape in a little bit of the more desirable areas are going to be at the top of that range. They're going to be within that $2,000 to $2,500 a month if you're talking about a single family home. And this all depends on how much space you need. I'm not sure if you need 1 bedroom, two, three, whatever the case is, but I will say in that 15 to 2,000 range, yes, you can find something. It just might not be as updated as the houses that are at the top of the range of like 2,000 to 2,500. That's kind of the sweet spot where I'm seeing the nicer houses in a little bit of the nicer areas where the schools are better and things like that. If you're looking at a townhouse or a condo between 1,500 and 2,000, you can get something nice. You can get something in a little bit of a more prime location. If you wanted to be somewhere in like Uptown or South End or something like that, you could probably get like a 1 bedroom, kind of being within that range. But if you came to somewhere like Matthews or something like that, for example, that 1,500 to 2,000, you'll be able to get a nice condo or a nice townhome. I don't deal with rentals too much, so I don't know of it too much. I just kind of know randomly kind of what I see and kind of what I come across from the MLS. And sometimes people ask me questions, so I'll kind of sift through and just kind of get educated on it real quick. Fazul, hey Sasha, why aren't we seeing the prices down on new construction? Isn't the demand in the lower than last year? Fazul, so yeah, I mean, demand is 100% down from what it was last year. We're not having the new construction lots get released and 15 people all want the same house. We're not having that kind of at all. Stuff is still moving, relatively quickly, but the builders, for some reason, I'm not seeing the price decreases. All I'm seeing is a lot more incentives. So before, you weren't getting anything. I mean, you weren't getting any incentive. Their version when the market was crazy of you getting incentive was like, congratulations, we're allowing you to buy this house. We're giving you that opportunity to buy this house. That's the only incentive you were giving. Prices right now for new construction, I've seen a couple go down a little bit here and there, but for the majority of the new construction stuff, it's not really coming down in price. They're just upping their incentives. Now you're able to get $10, $15, $20,000 in closing costs, in money to buy down your rate. Some of the places are including a refrigerator, which before all that was included, it was really a stove, oven, microwave. The refrigerator, washer, and dryer you had to buy on your own. So I'm noticing, they're not really cutting the prices too much. They're just giving you more incentives. There's some communities that are like allowing you to upgrade your light fixtures. They're including blinds, which blinds are pretty expensive. They could be like $100 to $150 per window for a blind. So prices aren't really coming down for new construction. Some of them slowly, slightly, $5,000, $10,000 decrease here and there, but they're giving people a lot more incentives to move forward with it, which, depending on your situation, could be worth it for you. Maria, we're getting close on our move in Long Island, New York, looking to rent then buy. What's a better area, Monroe or Gastonia? My husband want what's close to a New York suburban. I don't know if you're talking about the car suburban or if we're talking about a suburb. So Monroe and Gastonia. Monroe's a big area, so depending on kind of where you land, Gastonia is also a pretty big area. I think there's certain pockets inside of Gastonia. I mean, honestly, kind of like everywhere else, that are nicer than others. I think I haven't looked into it, so I would just double check. I think there is a little bit more crime in Gastonia than there is in Monroe. I would double check that, hop online, take a look at some resources and things like that. But I know a little bit more about Monroe than I do Gastonia. I have another agent that I work with that actually lives in Gastonia. So if you want, Maria, if you want me to get you connected with that agent, and you can probably ask her anything about Gastonia since she actually lives there. I've worked in Monroe as a paramedic. Not the best line of job when you're talking about living in a place, because I got called out for all the worst stuff and the most horrendous things happening. But me personally, I would kind of tend to lean a little bit more towards the Monroe area. Indian Trail, Stallings, Hemby Bridge, those are all in Union County, which is right down the street from Monroe. Kia Mitchell, is Cornelius a nice area? Yes, Cornelius is a gorgeous area. That's right over there by Lake Norman, and some of the most expensive houses that we have here in the Charlotte and surrounding area are going to be located in Cornelius because of that lake access. Very new. You do have a good amount of traffic right there on 77, which I want to tell you people, if anybody's been thinking about North Charlotte, if you've been thinking about living in Cornelius, in Mooresville, in Davidson, in Huntersville, or anything like that, and you have to commute to uptown Charlotte, the bypass that they recently opened up in the last couple of years is the most amazing thing ever. I just sold a house in Mooresville, and I was taking the bypass back and forth, and I was just watching all the traffic piled up on 77 while I was just cruising through. So what I want to say is, if you're somebody looking in that kind of area along 77, if you're looking to buy a home in that area, include your easy pass money for your daily commute if you're going to be going to uptown a lot into your purchase decision. So I don't go there often. I only go there when I have people that are looking to buy there and things like that. So every now and then. But if you're somebody that's planning on living there and you have to commute to uptown Charlotte or something like that, you need to buy that easy pass. You will save yourself, like, in a month's time, you'll save yourself hours. You'll save yourself hours of getting stuck in traffic. And the only time there's really bad traffic is there's an accident or something like that. But there's a ton, if it's just like congested, there's a ton of stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. And then once you get to the end of it, you're like, what the hell's going on? Why am I stuck in, it's because some idiot doesn't know how to merge, or something like that. So if you're somebody looking to live up there, add in the expense of the easy pass, that you have in there. But yes, Kia Cornelius is a really nice area. It's a highly desirable area. It's going to be a little bit on the more expensive side of some other suburbs that we have here in Charlotte, but it's definitely a nice area. Very new and things like that. I think you would like it. I'd probably love to live there. I've looked at a couple lake houses and stuff like that. I'd love to have like an Airbnb or a rental somewhere. Last year for my wife's 30th birthday, I actually surprised her, and I rented an Airbnb in Cornelius. Actually, this one was in Mooresville, but it's all on Lake Norman. And I invited her whole family down and things like that. And it was just the coolest feeling of having that lake house and knowing, hey, my house is 45 minutes away. Like if I need something, I'll just drive to my house and come back to the lake house. But while you're at the lake house, you just feel like you're, in a different city or something like that. We rented a boat. For my first time driving a boat, it was super fun, super easy. It was awesome. It was really cool. We got 11 people on here. We only got 4 likes. Let's see if we can kind of get those likes up. And if any of you haven't subscribed, guys, please do. I'm stepping a lot of things up here in the coming weeks and the coming months. So you're going to see a ton of more videos coming your way. So if you want to email me, if you want to text me and say, hey, Sasha, I've been thinking about, like Maria said, hey, I've been thinking about potentially renting in Gastonia and Monroe. If you guys want to shoot me some of those questions via text message, via whatever the case is, via email, I'll probably shoot a video for you, honestly. If I think it's a video that can help a ton of other people, it's a video I'll shoot for you. You know what I mean? Kia Mitchell, okay, I have family in Cornelius and Cabarrus, I believe. Perfect. Yeah, well, that's the best resource. Having family or friends that live in a place where you're potentially thinking about going because they're spending their day-to-day there, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's starting to thunder. It was 84 degrees today. I was sweating perfect. Like the weather's crazy this year. We're not jumping we're just doing huge jumps. One day it's 50 degrees, then the next day it's 75, and our body hasn't acclimated to it. We don't really have hey, it's 40, next month is 50, now it's 60, now it's 70. We're literally going from 50 to 85 degrees lately. day by day. We've had so much rain that everybody's grass looks phenomenal because it rains, next day sunshine, rain, next day sunshine. So it's interesting. Kia Michelle, I'm driving down in May and we'll take some time to check out more desirable areas. Definitely, definitely do it. And yeah, just go online, realtor.com, Redfin, Zillow, whatever, whatever you want to use. As far as rentals goes, I'd probably check out apartments.com. They seem to be a little bit more credible than like Zillow would be. I know Zillow has the most eyeballs, so the people that like to scam people that are looking for rentals are at the place where the most eyeballs are. And unfortunately, I've ran into that a couple times. So just verify, but go on apartments.com, type in, whatever you're looking for, a condo, townhouse, single family home, put in your price range and kind of check them out. And then when you're visiting, just write down the address, kind of map it out, and then, go hit 5 different houses and see what areas you like, what neighborhoods you like, and, make a trip out of it. And you're going to be down here in May, so make sure to check out Lake Norman, maybe, do a boat rental or something with your family. I'm sure you'll have a blast with it. Faisal, he had asked a question. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was JD asking about the number of new listings starting to climb and things like that. And one of my lenders said something to me a couple months ago when I made a new market report, and the rates were like super high. They were above 7, like creeping up close to 8. And then she was like, I think that the rates will come down and it's going to be a really good thing. She said if the rates can come down like sub 6, if they can get into that mid 5 range, she said we're going to see a lot more activity in the market, because one of the reasons why certain people are hesitant to sell right now is because, hey, I want to sell my house, but I don't have another house to buy because I have a great interest rate right now. Yes, I need to upgrade, but it's not worth it for me to upgrade and have to pay an extra $1,000 or $1,500 a month because the rates are so high. So what my lender was saying was, hey, when the rates come down to like a good range, like the mid 5s or something like that, we're going to see a lot more listings because sellers are going to feel a lot more comfortable selling their house, buying a new house, and being comfortable with that new house rate. So right now we're seeing them like hovering right around 6, which is kind of pretty low depending on obviously credit score, down payment, and things like that. But man, if we get into like the mid 5s or something like that, it's going to be interesting. I think we're going to have that. I think we're going to have that little bit of a jump where a lot of buyers kind of rush back in, which is not going to be good because our inventory is still relatively low when compared to last year. We're up 100%, but it's still relatively low. And if we have a bunch of buyers jump back in, it's not going to be great. But if the rates do come down, we'll see a lot more sellers kind of hit the market and kind of neutralize it. But again, tax assessments were recently done. Some of these tax assessments have gone high, which I'm going to be making a video about coming here in the next couple of weeks. And these tax assessments, guys, I mean, depending on the price of the home, honestly, I'm thinking it's probably going to be like a minimum for like everybody across the board, looking like an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a year, which is roughly $100 to $200 extra a month where you land in that due to them raising the property taxes. So that might have a little bit of friction. That might have a little bit of effect, on the housing market as well. And unfortunately, I'm super grateful. I'm super blessed to be working with, the people that I do and things like that. It seems like everybody I come across is like very financially literate and know what they're doing and know what they want, know how to have a budget and stick to it. Nobody's been like overextending themselves, overstretching. But unfortunately, I think not everybody's like that. I think there's a lot of people that bought houses and that absolutely stretched themselves prior to this kind of tax increase. And what's going to happen now? What's going to happen now starting, whenever they're going to start initiating this, or when people start getting their escrow payments for the taxes that stretch themselves. Hey, I can't afford an extra $150 a month. I'm completely maxed out and things like that. So I have been seeing houses starting to hit the market that were purchased, 1, 2, 3 years ago. So I'm curious if it's, just people like, hey, I just want to cash out. I just want to, make my money, maybe go buy something else at a later time. Or if some of these people that are doing that bought a house 1, 2 years ago that are selling now, maybe they just stretched themselves a little bit too much and didn't know kind of what kind of costs were incurring. Maybe it was during the madness of the market when people were not doing inspections and offering 50, 75, 100 grand over, which is nuts. I can't believe anybody even did that, but people did do that. Absolutely none of my clients. I would never advise them to do that, but people did do that. So I'm wondering if you bought a house 2 years ago, you waived your inspection, you didn't get an inspection, you closed on the house, you got an inspection after you closed on the house, and realized the house needs uh, 15,000, $20,000 in repairs to get you to kind of where you need to be, and then that you just put a down payment, you just paid a down payment, you just did your closing cost, you just bid 50,000 over the list price, you didn't get an inspection, and now you have to pay another 15, 20,000, maybe more, to get the house to kind of where it needs to be. Otherwise, it's just going to keep getting more dilapidated. So I'm wondering if that's going to happen as well, or if that is happening as well with some of the people that are listing their houses that bought in the last 2 years, 3 years. Kia Mitchell, thanks for the suggestion, of course. JD, where's the best area to look for homes on half acre or larger lots? Just the outskirts, JD. Obviously price range is going to be a factor for that. But the outskirts, a lot of the houses that have, a half acre, or over an acre lot, obviously the price range is going to be a little bit more significant. But if you're looking at something where the price range is 500, sub 400, places like Concord is a good place to take a look at. Usually you can get a decent lot, for the price if you're looking for something like that. Belmont, Mount Holly, that Gastonia area, places around Monroe, like Union County, Cabarrus County, even in Huntersville is a big area. Obviously, there's a very condensed area of Huntersville where there's a lot of great stuff going on, a lot of young professionals moving to. But just outside of that, Huntersville has a bunch of places where you can get, over a half acre lot and things like that. More often than not, the places where you do get a lot size that big, you're not really going to have an HOA, which might be a good thing for you. Other than that, if you're looking at homes up, close to $1 million and stuff like that, it's going to be similar places. But obviously that's a whole different ballgame. Majority of people are going to be looking in that under 400, under 500 price range for something like that. John, what's up, man? John said Cornelius and Davidson are amazing areas. Super pricey though, but I dream anyways. Man, within due time, my friend, we'll get this first house taken care of for you, and then after that, we can take a look at some of the other areas and see if some other opportunities pop up. You never know, man. You could hit the lotto tomorrow, and we'll be shopping, in Myers Park or something. But man, we got a pretty good turnout. I might have to change the YouTube live from 6 p.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern. We got 21 people on here, which is amazing. So guys, drop any and all questions. I'm here for you, and I re-upload these live, so sometimes people get confused and they're putting questions in the chat and things like that. But I am live right now, so any and all questions, guys, feel free to let me know. And one of my comments from Deb on, I live in Matthews. I have a home on a little over an acre and a half. The city is getting high in taxes. I love living here, but taxes are going crazy. I've been here for about 25 years, so maybe I'm just in shock of the times. 100%. And that's a problem. A lot of people that are local to the area, that have lived here for 10, 15, 20 years, maybe born and raised, it's a little bit of a shock. Number one, seeing the growth. Number two, seeing the prices as to what they are now. Trust me, when I first got into real estate roughly 5 years ago, I still have all my emails. I still have all the houses I help people buy. And like, if I go through that stuff, or if I go through my text messages where I send them a screenshot of a house or something like that, looking at the prices kind of like makes me nauseous. Because obviously, if I would have known what was going to happen with the prices, I just would have bought multiple homes. I would have bought one or two houses every single year. But to be honest with you, I wasn't in the situation that I am now. My market knowledge was almost nil. You get to a place kind of where I am now through experience. So I say I would do that. Hindsight is always 2020, and it absolutely sucks. And there's been so many times where I just didn't follow my gut in certain aspects where I should have, because it would have paid out. But I'm never going to let that happen again. I've definitely, learned my lesson. But yeah, I mean, these property taxes are going to affect. I feel like they're going to affect a lot of people, and some of these people that have lived here for so long, they went from paying $2,000 a year on $500,000 home for property taxes, and now we're double, triple that. Maybe we're even more, because that $500,000 house 5, 6, 7 years ago right now is close to $1 million. So now you're not paying taxes on the 500, you're paying the taxes on the million. So with this tax assessment, it is going to hurt some people, and I think that's gonna drive a small percentage, I would say, of people to sell their home. A majority are still gonna be able to afford it and things like that. But yeah, it is. I think it is gonna drive a small percentage maybe to list prematurely, and not be in the financial position, unfortunately, to kind of take care of that stuff. For me, I don't know what's going on with me. I told you guys I'm buying a house this year, and every single thing I'm looking at personally is just over my budget, and I wanna jump in it, but I'm like, no, don't. Practice what you preach. So I can't do something that I'm not going to tell the people I work with, to do. So I a hard time sticking with my budget with what I'm looking for, but I'm seeing more stuff kind of pop up. But it's such a turnoff. There was a house so close to me that I was so interested in, and I went to go schedule a showing for myself to go take a look at, because it was priced great, it was priced aggressively, and I went to go schedule a showing, and the showings were just booked up. The showings were booked up, and it was in coming soon status, so it wasn't even yet on the market. It was gonna hit the market in like 3, 4, 5 days, and I just looked at all the showings, and I'm like, I just don't want to deal with this. I'll deal with it for somebody I'm working for. I don't know if I have the capacity of like doing it for myself. I didn't even go see the house. I was just like, I'm not going to take up a 30-minute showing slot just to do it, because I just didn't want to deal with it. I'd rather somebody else take up that 30-minute slot. And ended up happening that Friday, Saturday, they were completely booked up, and they had an open house scheduled for that Sunday, and they got so many offers that they just ended up canceling the open house on Sunday. I was just going to stop by there just to take a peek, and hopefully not get emotionally attached where I kind of go crazy. But yeah, I didn't even look at it. That's kind of at the point where I'm at now. I'm at the attraction phase. If it's for me, it's for me. So a couple of houses I've kept an eye on, and I'm personally not going to do the multiple offer thing, and I don't recommend right now. A lot of people do it. For the majority of people, everybody's situation is different. If you're looking for a very unique home, if you're looking for a forever home, everybody's situation is going to be a little bit different. So you can be super aggressive. But if you're somebody that's looking for something that's a little bit more common, I would say, that you kind of come across every couple of weeks or so, honestly, unless it's priced super aggressively, you shouldn't really be doing the crazy over asking offers. You know what I mean? 5, 10, maybe 15,000 above. This depends on price range too, guys. But 5, 10, 15. If you're doing some crazy numbers and stuff like that, and it doesn't warrant it, you have to look at what everything's selling for in the area. Because like I said, a lot of sellers now are pricing pretty aggressively, which I'm a super fan of, because we're kind of getting on the right track. But yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff priced like very, very well lately, and this is a good thing, because we're heading in the right direction. And the stuff that's priced super well and super aggressively, those are the ones that are getting the multiple offers. This house, just to kind of give you a little thing that I was looking at for myself, it was a four bedroom, between 24 to 2600 square feet, beautiful brick house, 2-car garage, and it was listed at 495, and that is super aggressive for that house. I'm curious to what it's going to end at. It's probably going to end up selling around 550 or something like that. And honestly, at that price, it warrants it. It just didn't kind of tick all of my personal boxes. I didn't even go see it, but it just didn't tick all my personal boxes for where I can actually be competitive, because I'm not offering 50,000 above. I'm taking my time with stuff. I don't know if something froze or whatever the case is, but guys, there's no questions. I'm just rambling here. Drop me any and all questions, please. I'm here for as long as you need me. As you know, I can ramble all day about real estate. If there happens to be a home that one of you may be thinking about or something like that, I'm on the MLS now. I can pull up the address for you if you want my opinion on something. If you want my opinion on the neighborhood, I'll do the best I possibly can. The way I study neighborhoods is anytime I see a nice house, I just, jot that neighborhood down, and then I go into heavy research, which is, for some people is boring, but I love looking at median prices of certain neighborhoods, what the days on market is for certain neighborhoods and things like that. But 20 people in here. Hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, guys, please do so. And drop me any and all questions. Please do. Anthony, would you recommend renting before buying when moving from out of state? Tired of renting here in California. Anthony, how old are you? This depends on a lot of factors. Most of the time, if it's a single person, or if it's just a couple of two people, most of the time they'll end up renting for about 6 months to a year, just to kind of know essentially kind of the lay of the land. If it's a family or something like that, where schools are important, if it's a job relocation or something like that, those are the people that tend to kind of buy. And I do a very good job of kind of nailing down what you're looking for in an area and kind of guiding you in the right direction, and kind of laying out all the options for you. So all the families I helped, man, I mean, everybody loves the neighborhoods and things like that, which I'm super happy about. But it just depends. 2-person household for now. If it's a 2-person household, you have that luxury of being able to rent for 6 months to a year, and going around exploring, getting a better feel for all the areas. So yeah, I recommend it. Try doing it. That's what I did when I moved here. Rented for 6 months. Family came down, lived with family, then ended up buying my house. So yeah, if you can do it, definitely. And obviously, depending on price range and a bunch of stuff like that. If you're somebody, it's like, hey, my price range is $700,000-$800,000. You're not gonna land in like a bad neighborhood or bad area. It just depends on what you're looking for a house. Do you want a 2,500 square foot house for $700,000-$800,000 in a prime location where everything is super close by, or the schools are super close by? Or do you want a house that's 3,500 to 4,000 square feet that's also in the same price range? That's going to be a little bit more on the outskirts. It's not going to be kind of in the centrally located areas, but you have the luxury to rent. I'd probably look into renting if I was you. And I don't know, but it seems like you might be young and things like that, so it might be a good idea to check it out while you have the opportunity. Some families that are relocating and things like that have 1, 2, 3 kids, they need to move. They need to be moved in this summer, so school starts and all this stuff. They don't have the luxury. Moving is tough, especially if you're moving across state. You need to get everything together, moving trucks, cars. Are you going to drive your own car? Are you going to pay somebody to, so most people, it's like, for families, it's like, I'm not going to pack all my stuff, move across state, rent for 6 months, and then repack all my stuff, move to they're just not going to do it. But a lot of my friends and things like that, they rent, and they're just like, I could just pick up grab my laptop, grab my clothes, and I'm out of here. So if you could do it, definitely check it out or try it. 6 months to a year. Dustin Honeycutt. Dustin, you must be from North Carolina. I know so many people with the last name Honeycutt. When are you going to do your next market update for March? It's going to be out next week. So the stats haven't been uploaded yet. It usually takes like a week and a half for the stats to be uploaded from our MLS system for Canopy to kind of get it done. But it'll be out next week. So between April 10th through the 15th, whatever, next week, Monday through Friday, depending on when it comes out. If I can get a hold of the stats this coming Monday, you'll have them that following Tuesday. Other than that, you'll probably have them that Thursday, but really soon. So just make sure you're subscribed. And I don't ever tell people to do this, but if you put on post notification bells, you'll get a notification once you hop on YouTube saying that I've uploaded a new video, and that's when the market report's going to come out. Market report's going to be interesting because we're down a nice chunk. We're roughly down 10% from our all-time highs when it comes to prices. But then we had that blip, which I told you in the market report. I've seen a lot of properties have multiple offers. So I'm very curious. I'm not going to be surprised if we see the median price point and the average sales price actually jump up a little bit. But then again, I won't be surprised if it came down. I'm negotiating right now, and we ended up offering almost $35,000 less for this house that I'm negotiating now. So I'm proud to say that I'm doing my part in trying to get these prices down for all the buyers out there. Day by day, what's up, man? I like your stuff on Instagram and your podcast. You're doing your thing, man. You're doing your thing. Just a townhouse in Noda / Belmont and buy hopefully next year. Would love to in this area, but I know it would be pricey, but the location is unbeatable. Yeah, no, I mean that Noda's legit. There's always something going on. And especially you seem like you're younger too. Look at me, I'm sounding old. I'm 30, but yeah, if you're somewhere that wants to be in those kind of happening places and things like that, Noda, Plaza Midwood, Belmont's kind of getting built up, South End, all these kind of little areas, they're just getting built up so much. And for like young people, for young professionals that like networking, like being around a lot of people, like meeting people, like going out often, those places are top notch. Dustin, you're very welcome, my friend. John, I recently seen some of the homes that I've kept an eye on sell over asking this week. The same price point you mentioned, 320 to 350, sells very quickly. Yeah, that and honestly, what that is, in my opinion, what that is the median price point. We're last month's market report. We're looking at right there around 350, but a lot of the stuff like sub 400, under $400,000. It's all the people that didn't like really stand a chance to buy a house during kind of that bull run between 2020 and 22. That didn't get a chance at all to buy a house due to all the madness. Now they're kind of hopping back in the market, and that's why that kind of price range is getting snagged up. A lot of it is first-time home buyers. And John, you sent me that article, that we talked about on Instagram. But yeah, it's just it's tough. So it's toughest for the first-time home buyers right now. Luckily, the due diligence fees, the earnest money deposits have gone way down. Stuff is more negotiable and things. But yeah, a lot of the stuff sub 400, even higher than that, honestly, 500, 600, it's still selling quickly, but the majority of the stuff that's selling super fast and above asking is like sub 400, and especially like you mentioned, between that 320 to 350 range as well. Sari, what cheaper airports are near Charlotte? Why are flights to Charlotte so expensive? That is an amazing question because I have no idea. But yeah, flights out of Charlotte, I don't know if it's to Charlotte, but flights out of Charlotte seem to be pretty expensive. I took a Euro trip, this was a long time ago. This was like 8 years ago with my friend Sammy, and this was when he was living in Charlotte at the time. We drove to Atlanta because the flight to Europe from Atlanta was like $700 cheaper. And we're young, we're broke, and it was $700 cheaper to fly out to Atlanta instead from Charlotte. So we drove to Atlanta, parked the car, and flew from there. But I have no idea why the flights out of Charlotte seem to be a little bit more expensive. Certain destinations are a little bit cheaper. My friend Sammy that I had mentioned, he lives in Orlando, and I used to actually find cheap flights. I found flights to Orlando for like $100, $150. But now, all this craziness, now it's pretty expensive too. Now it's not 100, 150 anymore. It's like $300, $400, which is crazy. But to answer your question, I'm sorry, I have no idea. But yeah, flights out of Charlotte for some reason seem to be expensive. And so I don't know if I'm saying it right. Is it Sarai or Siri? I don't know. I honestly don't know. And it's depending on where you used to live as well. I lived in Cleveland, Ohio, which where the flights were usually a little bit cheaper than kind of on average. So I don't know how it compares to other, international airports or stuff like that. I will say our airport is gorgeous. They've put so much money into it. It's a cool airport. I love it. But yeah, I just don't know. Kia Mitchell, are these overpriced houses being justified because of the demand? No, the houses that are overpriced are sitting on the market a very long time, and the sellers are having they're having a lot of trouble understanding that the market is not what it was last year. They're not understanding, hey, why did my neighbor sell their house for 500,000 and get multiple offers and ended up selling for 550? And why am I selling, why am I listing my house at 500 and I'm getting no activity right now? The overpriced stuff, the stuff that just isn't worth it, that's not renovated, that's, and things like that. Those are the houses that's sitting. There's a house right now that if you go in, I don't know the address, but it's located in the subdivision Annecy, Annecy. Great neighborhood, great location. Price is outrageous. They listed this thing at 575 when all of the comps in the neighborhood are literally sub like 525 and under. And this house isn't even that impressive, unfortunately. And I'm like, it was one of those things. I was doing my daily look on MLS and I looked at it, looked at the neighborhood. I know the neighborhood. I looked at the price and I was like squinting my eyes. I'm like, 575? Are you guys nuts? There's not a chance you're gonna get anywhere near that. You need to drop that price by $50,000 to get some interest. So it's gonna be curious to see what's gonna happen with that house. Somebody, unfortunately, you never know. Somebody might hop in and do something stupid and overpay for it. Nobody I'll ever work with, I will not let somebody I work with make a bad decision. I tell people if I'm working with somebody and the house is overpriced, hey, you're overpaying. I'm brutally honest. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Again, overpriced houses are sitting on the market. Shraddha, I hope that's how you pronounce your name. Would you recommend single people to buy in this economy or keep renting? That's an interesting question. Single people, I don't. It depends on you, to be honest with you. I'm not sure about your financial situation. I'm not sure about your employment situation. I'm not sure about your plans for the long term and things like that. I'm not one of these people that tell somebody, hey, you should buy or you should rent. You should do whatever you want to do and what suits your lifestyle. I will say you had mentioned in this economy, so it sounds like you're somebody that follows like the economic stuff that's happening, and we have so many variables kind of at play. So it just depends on kind of your comfort level. But right now in this economy, nobody's really comfortable. There's so many tech layoffs happening. I just read a article that Russia, China, Brazil, India, and another country, I believe, is trying to like create their own currency. I'm wondering, like, what is this going to do to the US dollar, And there's just so much damn stuff going on. It sounds like you have a lot of unanswered questions. It might be a good idea for you personally. This is just, you literally just asked me a question. I don't know anything about you, but just based off this, like, it might be a good idea for you to personally rent for a little bit. If you have, a lot of uncertainty in regards to the economy, it's always better to kind of play safe rather than not. If you're somebody that's like, hey, I want to buy a place right now and my intent is to live in it for 5-10 years, you might as well just buy right now. But if you're somebody that's a little bit uncertain, you don't know if you're going to stay in Charlotte for the long haul or something like that, then it might be a good idea for you to rent. Kia Mitchell, I agree. Flights from Philly to Charlotte are over $400 round trip. It's only an hour flight. Yeah, I do not understand. I'd love to talk to like somebody at the airport and like, hey guys, can you break down why these flights cost so much? Like, it's crazy. Like, you guys know I moved here from Cleveland, Ohio almost 9 years ago, and I'm not paying $500 to go see my friends in Cleveland, Ohio. I love Cleveland to death, but I'm not paying $500 for a flight to go to. If I'm paying $500, I'm going to the Bahamas, I'm going to California, I'm going to Florida, I'm going to Texas. I'm getting my money's worth out of the flight. You know what I mean? But I love Cleveland, Ohio, but I'm not paying $500 to go to Cleveland. You could probably find a flight for $500 to go to Jamaica, and then find a cheap Airbnb or something like that. You can't justify it. So it's I don't know why it's expensive. I honestly don't. We've been on for about 48 minutes. I'm still here for you guys if you have any other questions. This live is going good, and honestly, I might have to change every first Thursday of the month. We're gonna do a live. I don't know yet, but guys, make sure you're following my Instagram at QC Home Group. That's where I announced that I'm going to be going live, later in the day, so you guys could just get a heads up. But the fact that there's, 28 people on here right now, I might have to move the lives to 4 p.m. because there's just a lot more engagement, which is obviously great. But any and all questions, guys, please let me know. I'm here for you. And I'm like I said, I'm on the MLS right now, so other than asking locals, where's the best place to get the scoop on different areas in Charlotte? Kia, honestly, that's the best thing you could do, is ask locals. Nobody knows the area better than somebody that actually kind of lives there. But actually, go on Facebook, and there's a bunch of like Charlotte Facebook groups. So there's like a young professionals group, there's like a group that looks for rentals, there's like a group that looks for like roommates, and all that stuff. And that actually is a good way, just join the group. There's like usually like thousands of group. And if you're interested in a particular area, you can just go in that Facebook group and type in, hey guys, I'm thinking about moving to Belmont. I'm 25 years old. I'm a new graduate. I work at XYZ. Do you guys recommend this area? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? And people love giving their opinions. So I'm sure you'll get flooded with a bunch of different comments. So, and honestly, that question is for everybody. If you're somebody looking to rent or anything like that, just join some Facebook groups that are kind of centered around Charlotte, and drop some questions and stuff like that in there. Right now, I told you guys I'm in my MLS. I'm just going to quickly outline the areas that I'm personally looking at home. I just do a big radius circle because I know kind of where I'm heading. So when I go in here, I get in, oh Jesus. Yeah, so I did a radius kind of in the area that I'm looking at of 7.8 miles, and I didn't type in any price range or anything like that. And there's 37 coming soon listings. So 37 coming soon listings. Obviously, the price ranges vary extremely. There's a coming soon for 3.8 million, and then it goes all the way to $255,000 coming soon. But yeah, it's crazy because 8 months ago, a year ago, this was no. If I would have did that same thing, it probably would have had like 5 or 10. I have 37 that just popped up. So, the new listings are coming, but again, I don't know. It's right now, it's just so hard to tell if it's the typical seasonal. Sorry. I don't know if it's the typical seasonal new listings or if we have that little extra, sugar on top, that I thought we were going to get that I honestly haven't seen, coming in the million, from 3.8 million down to like 800,000. Luxury is double the median sales price. So essentially luxury kind of would be considered in Charlotte, according to the last kind of market report. Luxury is kind of considered at like, between 7 and 800,000. I am not tech savvy at all, but what I'm going to end up doing is finding a way or having somebody teach me how I can look through the MLS So while I'm on the phone with you guys, if you have questions about something, pull comps for you, or even on the Instagram. Like I said, go follow me, QC Home Group. What I plan on doing is just highlighting some houses that are, that I personally think are really nice, that are priced well. So if you start following that and you happen to be in a whatever $450,000 price point, and I find a house that is, what I personally would consider in a good location, good square footage, good shape, and all that stuff, I'll be posting it on there. So might give you a little bit of a heads up to take a better look at. Uh, Joseph, is it better to buy a new build home or an older home with the way the prices are in the current market? That's a good question. It sounds like you don't really have a preference. If you could buy a resale home that's in good condition, you'll be a little bit better off. New construction is just going to be a little bit more expensive. And usually the new construction is going to be a little bit further out, outside of the city. The resale homes are, in a little bit more well-established areas and things like that. So since you don't have a preference, I would probably say resale. But if you're somebody that, I've worked with people that are like, I want a new construction. I don't want anybody to have lived in the home. I want every single thing in the house to be new, and they only want new construction. And they're willing to kind of pay for that and things like that. So, but it sounds like you don't have a preference. I personally, for me, I like resale just because you can get a better price on resale than you can new construction. And me, like I'm looking in the market right now for myself, and I'm looking at resale. I'm not really looking at new construction, even though there's a couple communities that kind of caught my eye before. But I just want to resale just because I just want to renovate a couple things and, put some of my contractors to work. Maria, what site do you search on? So I search on the MLS. As a realtor, I have access to the portal. But Maria, we've spoken. Send me, if you want, send me a text message or send me a message via Instagram. And if you want, I'll send you the link to my realtor app, and you can go in there. John, that's on the live. I don't know if he's still on, but John uses the realtor app, and you can kind of go in there and kind of create your own search parameters and stuff like that. So yeah, reach out to me via Instagram if you want, or just send me a text message. You can even, don't email me, send me a text or reach out to me via Instagram, because if I send you the link via email, you can't like install it like on your computer. You have to install it through your phone. What lender mortgage best from your practice opinion, more your clients use? So I have a couple different lenders that I work with. I honestly have three, but I have one that is separating herself from the pack. Her name is Annika, and she is at Movement Mortgage. She is phenomenal. She's phenomenal. I'm gonna get her to do a live with me one day or something like that, and she's amazing. I've worked with people sometimes, unfortunately, where they're kind of stuck on a certain lender or something like that. Or, hey, I bank with Bank of America. I want to go through them. They're going to give me $1,000 if I go through them or something. And they just don't want to budge. And the loan, they couldn't finish the loan, it left us stuck. And I've sent the loan to Annika, and she has closed it in 7 days. She's absolutely amazing. She's the lender that I personally recommend, because she's the lender that I'm gonna use when I buy my house. It just speaks volumes, and she's done so much great work for people, and I've never heard anything bad. She gets the job done. She knows people. So her name is Annika at Movement Mortgage. And so if you want, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but if you want, send me an email, or send me a text message, and I can get you connected with her. If you want to talk to her, I'm sure she'll be happy to help you. You don't even have to use me as your realtor. You can just use her as the lender. That's totally fine. Reach out to me and I'll get you connected. All right, perfect. Alex, new construction, 25-year-old brick house. So Tennyson is a new construction. They're doing like farmhouses. TennYson, I believe. They have like the modern farmhouse look. The lots are a little bit smaller but I like the location. You're literally 5 minutes away from from anything. So check them out. I think they have some houses that are in that 550 and under range, and they're all new construction, and I think they're nice. I walked through a couple times. Um, but yeah, I mean, it just depends. Me, I like classic houses. I want a mid-century modern home, but I love brick houses. So I really love brick houses. And it depends on location. A lot of the brick houses that are 25 years old, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, they're going to be in a little bit more well-established neighborhoods. Newer construction tends to be a little bit on the outskirts, but you can definitely find some, in some established areas. Perler, I don't like that they make all these newer construction homes out of wood. What happened to the days of brick homes? Don't they last longer? So that's a good question. That's a good question as well. And honestly, it goes down to essentially kind of, efficiency. They call them stick-built homes. It depends on where you live too. You know what I mean? If you're somebody that I've spoken to a lot of people from different places, like New York, for example, and in New York, everything's like made out of brick and all that stuff. And when you come down here, you might think like, oh, why is the build quality different? Or you might think like because not everything is brick, because we have a good amount of stick built stuff, that it's not good quality. But you have to think about where we live. Our houses, we don't need to, have hurricane proof windows. We don't need to have, a certain type of roof because we don't get 2 to 3 feet of snow. So the houses here, even though they're stick built and things like that, they don't get beat up as much as other places that have a ton of snow, that have hurricanes, that are like prone to like earthquakes and stuff like that. So they can be built differently, but there's so many of these like quote unquote stick built homes and things like that. They're good quality. Like they're gonna last you, they're gonna last you a long time. 100+ years as long as it's taken care of. I moved here from Cleveland, Ohio. And our house was built, I think it was like 1910 or something like that, and that was a stick built home, except we had like a high pitched roof so the snow can't sit, obviously not to cave in your roof. And you're in Florida, so your guys' homes are all stucco. And to my point exactly, so stucco helps out a lot with the heat, so it keeps a lot of the heat out. So that's why a lot of the houses, in Florida are stucco. A lot of the houses in like Arizona are stucco for the heat. And then again, you have to have a cement or brick house in Florida because of the dangers of a hurricane. A brick house, a stucco home isn't going to get blown away if a category 5 comes in, but we don't really have to worry about that. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. If you ever really kind of want to know, you can always reach out to a builder or go to a new construction community and talk to an on-site builder. They'd be happy to talk to you. And I'm sure if you look it up on YouTube, you can look up, hey, quality of stick-built homes or something like that. But they're made very well. All right, guys, it has been over an hour now. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, call, text, or email me anytime. This was a really good live. You guys had some good questions. I'll be re-uploading this in the coming weeks. If you want to go through anything, maybe listen to some questions that you didn't listen to. And the market report comes out next week, so I'm super excited. But I'm excited because I'm going to have a ton more videos coming your guys' way. I got some big things kind of happening for me. And I'm excited. You're very welcome. I appreciate you logging on. I appreciate the questions. And I'm off to Savannah, Georgia tomorrow to go check it out. And I'll make sure to report back and let you guys know what I think and let you know if it should be a place that you should kind of check out when you move here. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And I will see